Next topic. I thought this was interesting. It's an opinion piece, the end of Bitcoin maximalism. So the launch of Bitcoin in 2009 created a resilient and decentralized monetary asset. Early adherents rallied around it as a singular innovation, immutable, fixed supply, and leaderless. Over time, this coalesced into a belief system, Bitcoin maximalism. The argument was simple. Bitcoin came first. It had the most proof of work security, the most conservative monetary policy. All other assets were distractions or regressions. But that framing increasingly diverges from how Bitcoin is now being applied in practice. Today, the crypto ecosystem is no longer a collection of isolated silos, or at least it needn't be. Interoperability is the backbone of Web3. The same technologies that maximalists once dismissed, like wrapped Bitcoin and cross-chain bridges, are now exposing the limitations of that worldview. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that wholeheartedly, but let's hear them out. So while these technologies are far from perfect, they prove that users want more than ideological purity. They want utility and functionality. This evolution is particularly significant for Bitcoin, which has historically been limited by its transaction speeds and lack of smart contract functionality. The watershed moment came with the emergence and explosive growth of DeFi, offering yield farming, lending, and trading opportunities that Bitcoin, at least in its native form, couldn't directly participate in. Most early DeFi activity was concentrated on Ethereum, and now obviously Solana for the most part. To bridge this gap, solutions like wrapped Bitcoin were conceived and launched, tokenizing Bitcoin for use on Ethereum and other chains. While this was a step forward, wrapped tokens came with associated risks such as centralized custodians, potential security vulnerabilities, and an overall departure from Bitcoin's trustless ethos. New systems, including trust minimized tunneling and Bitcoin anchored consensus proofs, are enabling Bitcoin to be integrated into smart contract environments without compromising its core properties. These architectures avoid the need for wrapping. Instead, they treat Bitcoin as a foundational external settlement layer that can interact directly with the rest of the blockchain ecosystem through tunneling and specialized Bitcoin aware virtual machines. Now, I know that as tunneling pertains to exchanges, you want to be extremely careful because you can get into a position where you lose those funds. Tunneling is not quite perfect yet, just so everybody's aware of that. You know, if you want to go look into that, feel free to do so. I've heard of a lot of issues with it so far. I haven't used it personally. I just send Bitcoin on native Bitcoin chain. I don't even use Lightning personally, but the weight's not that bad, right? The result is simple. Bitcoin is no longer isolated, and it no longer needs to be. Bitcoin maximalism asserts that Bitcoin alone is sufficient, but the infrastructure now being deployed across the ecosystem proves otherwise. Bitcoin is being used in DeFi. Bitcoin is supporting NFT standards. Bitcoin is moving across chains, and it's doing so without compromising its consensus layer of monetary properties. The future of crypto belongs to collaboration, not isolation. Blockchain infrastructure will be shaped by interoperability and modular design. Bitcoin need not compete for dominance in such an ecosystem. Rather, it can complement and secure a broader multi-chain ecosystem. As developers build bridges between chains rather than walls, they prove that Bitcoin can coexist with other networks, enhancing its utility instead of competing for dominance. In this environment, the maximalist mentality of one coin to rule them all already feels out of touch. Yeah, except like this cycle definitely feels like one coin to rule them all, right? Like Bitcoin's outperforming almost everything outside of like what? Like maybe let's do over the, let's say, past year. Where's that compare button? Once again, I don't, here we go. Let's compare with, I think like what? Solana would be the best bet there. Bitcoin in the blue. I mean, Solana was doing good, but you know, it's definitely fallen off its performance. So even Solana is not really quite keeping up with Bitcoin at this time. So kind of interesting. But regular crypto users want flexibility and different options to stake, lend, or trade their assets across multiple platforms, which interoperability enables, unlike Bitcoin maximalism that restricts all out-of-the-box use cases. As multi-chain ecosystems mature, users are increasingly drawn to infrastructure that supports cross-chain utility, including secure integrations of BTC. Finally, Bitcoin maximalism has always been rooted mostly in ideology, but the crypto industry is driven by innovation, and new technologies are proving that BTC can evolve without losing its importance or advantages. This way, maximalists risk being left behind if they dismiss these advancements as mere distractions. I don't necessarily agree with this because, I mean, if you're a maximalist and you're holding Bitcoin, and other chains are adding Bitcoin, which is increasing the demand for Bitcoin itself, it's like, well, the price is still going up and you're still going to benefit from the demand that the interoperability with other chains creates, right? So I don't know. I think it's dumb. I think like the summary or the summation of this article based off of the facts makes no sense. Like, pretty much this article makes zero sense in and of itself, but once you get to the conclusion, it's like, okay, well, that doesn't really make any sense. So I don't even know if this one's even really worth completing out as far as the article is concerned. Interoperability is important, but I would say that like most of the chains that have tried to implement interoperability, haven't gotten to the point, haven't shown to be extremely successful as of late anyways. And once again, like I said, if we were going to look at the markets, it is true that Bitcoin's dominance appears to be growing, not lessening. Unless I'm missing something, right? By and large, it appears, and I guess we could look at that, right? Because we can just Google what the current Bitcoin dominance chart. Let's look at that, right? Where can we pull that from? Maybe like TradingView or... So yeah, so TradingView's current Bitcoin dominance is 64% of the crypto market. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.